Welcome to Unit 9 of PianoVideoLessons.com. I'm Lisa, and in this unit, we're working on studying Grade 1 level Baroque music. This is Unit 2 of Year 2. Today, we'll be learning Bouree in A minor by Johann Sebastian Bach. And in this lesson, we'll be learning the basics of this piece, the rhythm, the notes, and fingering, and I'll be giving you an introduction to what a Bouree is. You can get the sheet in your ebook. It's page 5, the sheet music for this Bouree, and the practice plan is found in the appendix in your ebook. We also have a worksheet to help you learn this Bouree, and I'll be covering most of the details from that in this lesson, as well as the characteristics of Baroque music at the beginning of your ebook. So let's get started by getting an introduction to the Bouree. The Bouree is another dance form. It's another part of the suite that was popular for instrumental music during the Baroque period. And it's a dance. All of the music in the suite can be danced to. So the minuet was a dance that you danced in 3 beats per measure. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The Bouree is written in cut time, giving you 2 beats per measure. So when we look at it, it looks a little bit like it's written in 4/4 time because you can see that there are 4 quarter notes in each measure. However, we're going to count half notes. So instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to count 1, 2, 1, 2. And a Bouree also always starts on a pickup note or an upbeat. So it's going to start on the and, the half beat of the second pulse. So it feels like and 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. This piece is in A minor. You can see that it ends on A and it has 0 sharps or flats in the key signature. So a really good idea would be to go back and review your technical requirements for A minor. Those are covered in Unit 8. If you want to click the info card, you can come on in and have a look at that. So let's get started at stage 1 of learning this piece. In this stage, we're working at the fingering, the notes, and also the rhythm, but at a slow tempo, and maybe even stopping and going a little bit as we establish the piece. This piece is written in binary form, and many of the dances of the Baroque era are. So the first half of the piece here is the A section, and then the second half of the piece is the B section. And you can see that the type of rhythmic patterns has changed from the first section. You can see some similarities here between the quarter notes against the quarter note rests in the left and some running down eighth notes. And then the second part, we're seeing more alternating between the 2 hands. And we do see a little echo of the introductory line here at the end of the B section. So let's have a look first at the A section, and let's look at the right hand. So we're working on the goal of accurate fingering, and I like to do fingering before notes, mostly because fingering is what trips people up a lot. So if we look here, we can see that it starts on finger 2, so we're just going to use a tabletop or a closed lid, and we're going to go through the fingering. So here we have 2, and then we go up a 4th, back to 2, up a 4th, and back to 2. So when we go the interval of a 4th, like this right here, we use fingers 2 and 5, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4 notes apart. Now, this is something that was covered in Unit 3 in Year 1. So if you're a little bit curious about how to figure out your own fingerings using intervals, you can click the info card and get more information about that. So at the end of this measure, we're on finger 2, and then we're going to go from 2, we're going to go up a neighbor, and then we're going to repeat that note, and then going down to 1. Now it says finger 5 again, so we're going to be on 5, and then we're going down, neighbor, 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 neighbor. Then we have finger 4, down, neighbor, up, neighbor, skip. That takes us to finger 1. Then we have 2, and then this looks like the beginning, 5, 2, 5, 2, 3, 3 again, down, down. Then it says 5, and we're going to go neighbor down, neighbor down, neighbor down, neighbor up, skip, and then from 1 we're going to roll over to 2. All right, so that's the fingering for the right hand. You should practice that a little bit until you can think about which fingers you need pretty much automatically in that section. Then we'll move on to the left hand. Now here we see an interval of a third, but it says fingers 1 and 2. So we're gonna use that fingering, and the reason for that, I'll show you right now, is that the next thing we have to play involves moving down. So if we're using our 1 and our 2 here, it's easy for us to not get lost in the keys as we move down for this next grouping. So here we're going to have 1, 2, 1, 2, and a big distance. This is a sixth. We'll use 1, 5. That's the biggest reach that our hand can make, 1 to 5. Then we have 3, up, up, same note, down a fifth, rest. And then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 5, and this is the same thing, so it's the same fingers, 3, up, up, 1, 5. So if you're not used to reading by intervals, such as 6th and 3rd and 5th, it's really important that you take some time to get comfortable with that now. So hop on back to Unit 3 of Year 1, just clicking that info card to get more information about reading by intervals, because that's what makes reading quite a bit easier. Reading intervals, looking for chord patterns. So we've just looked at the fingering, and that is done. Now we're going to look at the notes. So the first thing that we'll do with reading our accurate notes is we'll do note flashes. And basically all that is we're going to look at the finger numbers that are written in the music, and we're going to play each note that has a finger number written with it. So here I'm going to play 2 on E. Here I'm going to play 5, that note is F. That was here. Now I'm going to play 4, and that note is D. And now I'm going to play 2 up to E. And over here there's a 5 on F again, and then there's a 1 on B, and a 2 on A. So we've moved through the note flashes for the right hand. Now we're going to go ahead and play all of the notes. So the note flashes often indicate the finger numbers, tell us that we need to move to a new position. So we're going to circle the ones that do cause that to happen. So here we started with 2, and then we had up to 5, 2, 5, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Now 5 is moving us to F. So if we circle this, it will remind us that we're changing position. So I've circled the finger number. 5, down, 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 bringing my 4 into D. 4, down, down, up, skip. And again, I had to move my hand into that position. Here I finished with my 1 on A. I didn't need to know that it was A, because I know that this is a line note and this is a line note, so I've skipped down below middle C to the lower A. Now I'm moving my 2 to E, and I'm just going to circle that because it was a move again. And then we repeat something similar to the first line. 2, 5, down a fourth, 5, down a fourth, up, same, down, down, moving 5, down, neighbor, down, neighbor, down, neighbor, up, neighbor, skip, down. So right in here I moved again, and I didn't have to move in this case, but I do have to roll over for that too. So that's the notes for the A section of this Bouree. Let's just go through it one more time. And again, I'm not thinking, I've got some eraser dust on my keys, I'm not thinking of the notes actually individually, I'm thinking of them in groups. And here I see a pattern of up downs using fingers 5 and 2, making that 4th distance. So from E, and then 3 is on F, moving my 5 into F, going down every note by neighbors, bringing my 4 in to D, moving my 2 up. This is the same thing. And then we have a small change here at the end of this. After we go down to C, we're going to go 1, 3, 2, and hold that. So I said 1, 3, I meant 3, 1, 3, 1, 2. Sometimes I say the wrong thing. Sorry, guys. Human error. So let's go back and try the left hand now. So we're starting with 1, 2, and that's C with a skip. I know it's A, but I don't have to know it's A. I just need to know that it's a skip. And then here I've got this interval of a 6th using 5 and 1, and then down 3 on C. So I'm just going to circle that finger number 3 because I've had to really move my hand down. And if you want to, you can write a 5 here and circle it because we did have to hop down. So from this 1, 2, my 5 is right now touching E. So I'm actually moving down a note and playing 5 and 1, and now moving my 3 to C, neighbor, neighbor, rest, rest, and then finger 1 again, and then down a 5th. Didn't have to move. Now here I am moving, so you could just draw a circle there, but we know it's the same as before, so we don't actually need the finger numbers to be written in. And then we can draw a circle here because we're moving. Something to trigger you to remember that you're moving. You could draw an arrow. I like to draw arrows to show that I'm reaching, but you could draw an arrow to show that you're moving as well. All right, so those are the notes for the right hand and the left hand for a section. So we'll check that off. We've done our note flashes and we've played through it. Now we have to think about the rhythm for this section. So thinking about the rhythm, we're counting the half notes as we said before, and that means that we can divide these in half every quarter beat, every quarter note. So that gives us, oops, so that's one. See, I can't talk and write at the same time. Usually end up writing something crazy. I try to do it still though. That's just one of the things about me. I guess I'm always in a hurry. 1 and 2, and I can do it if I say the thing I'm writing. No problem. So, because we started on this and, we're sort of ending also before the end of this measure. You can see that this and has got nothing on it, but if it did, it would be something leading us into the next line, and we'll see that happening in the B section. So, the counting. It's pretty easy here. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So there's this extra note in here. So we can say and we can divide a full beat into 1 E and that's 4 parts in the one beat. 1 E and 2 E and and that's exactly what's happening here. So we have 1 E and 2 and. So 1 and 2 and 1 E and 2 and. You could practice just counting 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and just because you want to feel those beats going by steadily. But let's go ahead and tap both hands while we count, starting here at the beginning. Should we do both? Let's do the right hand alone first, because it does have this little tricky bit right over here. I'm just going to mark this measure as tricky rhythm measure. So I'm just going to put a little bracket around it. And we're just going to break this one apart. So let's start with the right hand. And we're going to tap 1 E and 2 and. So we've got 4 notes in the first beat, 1, and 2 notes in the second beat, 2. So dividing them equally, 1 E and 2 and if I just say 1, 2, 1, 2, you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Some people like to use words to divide that up. So you could say something like Mississippi or alligator or another 4-syllable word, watermelon. And then here you could have a 2-syllable word like pizza or, I don't know, apple, puppy, something with 2 syllables. So we could have watermelon pizza, watermelon salad. I like that. Watermelon salad. That's our watermelon salad measure. Watermelon salad. Like it. So when we play the left hand, it's going to go 1 and 2 and. So we have 1 and 2 and. So if we have watermelon salad, so the left hand is going to play on melon and salad. So watermelon salad. Here we go. Watermelon salad. That's it. Watermelon salad. All right, let's go back then and try hands together for both of these lines, starting at the beginning. And 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. Ooh, left is out. 1 E and 2 and. That's a little tricky. I'm going to circle that rest right there because you might have a problem remembering to rest. Every other measure, the left hand got to play on beat 1. So let's just come in from here and practice doing that without playing the left hand on that rest. 1 and 2 and watermelon salad. Again, same 2 measures. 1 and 2 and 1 E and 2 and. So that's this measure. Let's keep on going. We'll finish line 2. This one's pretty straightforward. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and. All right, so we figured out the rhythm at a slow tempo. Now we have to put that all together, playing the notes and the fingers in a reasonably good rhythm. So we're allowed to stop a little bit and think here. We're not just going to rush through and expect to get it right on the first try. So let's just try these first 2 measures and see how they feel. So we're going to have and 1, and 2, and 1, and a 2, and. I had to move twice there. I had to move my left hand, then my right. Let's try that again. And 1, and 2, and 1, and a 2, and. Let's keep going, moving our 3 down to C. 1, and 2, and 1 E, and a 2, and. So if that's tricky, do it again, maybe starting right here. And if you do want to start here, you could write in the finger number for this first note. Or you could start playing on the 5, either one. So we can start from 5, 5, then we have 1 and 2, move the right, 1 E and a 2, and. So comb through that until it feels a little bit comfortable, and then we're moving on to, from the and, we have the same thing, 1 and 2, and 1 and a 2, move your 5, 1 and 2, and a 1 and 2, and. So together then, I'll play without talking. So now let's move on to the B section. And here we're going to first do our accurate fingerings. So let's go do the right hand. 4, 2, same thing. 4, neighbor, 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 skip, neighbor, neighbor. 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, down, down, up, 2, and then 5, 2, 5, 2, and from 2 it's 3, 3, 2, 1, just like before. 5, neighbor, 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 3, 1, 2, just like before. So this is exactly the same. We're really just mostly working on this line. So let's just make a little indication here that the A repeats down here. We don't have to practice that part. So let's go back and do just this line for left hand. So 4, 2, same thing, and then thumb, down, down, up, 4, 2, 4, 2, 1, down, down, up. And then we can check that off. B section, fingering, done. Now we'll do note flashes. So here we have 4 and 2 on E and G. And then we have 4 on G. Then we have 4 and 2 on D and F. Then we have 4 on F. Now we have 2 on E. Then we have 5 on A, 5 on F. And that's the end. Now we'll go back for the left. The flashes here are C sharp with A. Now this note is a skip above middle C, so that's E, 1 with E, then 4 and 2, G and B, 1 on D, 1 and 2, 3 down on C. Now, if you have a hard time reading the notes, I highly recommend that you get a little faster at that. You could maybe use my note speller for piano. You can just click the link in the info card up here and head on over to the note speller, which will just give you a little bit of quick experience working on your notes. Or you could go all the way back to the note reading crash course if you need a lot of help and want to learn them for the first time. So now let's go ahead and play just the right hand on this line. So we're going to have rest, 4, 2 on E, G, and then we have G, down, 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 skip, up, up. Now we're moving, so I'm just going to circle here to remind us that we have to go somewhere different. Rest, and then 4, down, down, up, move your 2. And I'll circle that 2 again, just to remind ourselves that we're moving up. So now we've played through the notes. You want to practice that right hand. Rest. Rest, rest. Practice the right hand until you're comfortable moving between those finger positions and landing on the right notes. Now left hand, we're going to have C sharp and A, rest, rest, E, down, down, up, and we're going E, down, sharp, up. Then we're moving G, B, rest, And then we're moving, D. Okay, so let's circle. This is a move. This is a move. This is a move. We're moving every time. D, down, down, up. So again from here, 4-2 with the sharp, and then E with a sharp. Again, that C sharp is in there. And rest, and D, down, down, up. All right, so those are the notes, and we've got the right hand and the left hand. Now let's look at the rhythm. So we're going to have 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 E and or watermelon, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and this is the same as the second line up here, the ending of the A section. So this measure is easy, 1 and 2 and this measure is also easy. I would say the hardest measure in this section is probably this one here, because we have not yet encountered that rhythm before. So this one is going to go, well, not this combination of right hand and left hand. We're going to have 1 and 2 E and not hard at all. 1 and 2 E and 1 and 2 E and. So here you could say blueberry, watermelon. Blueberry, watermelon. So it's both hands until the last 3. Blueberry, watermelon. All right, that's the rhythm for that. Now let's go ahead and tap both hands all the way through to the end of this line, because that's the only new part. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 E and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So 1 and 2 and. All right, so we figured out the rhythm, hands together, on this B section. Now we're going to go ahead and put all of that together, notes, rhythm, and fingering, playing on the keys, slowly, stopping when necessary. All right, so we have left hand starting on C sharp with 2, right hand 2 is on E. Notice I didn't name all the notes because I know they're just skips apart, or intervals of a third. Now I'm going to check that I move to the right note here, and I'm going to have blueberry, watermelon, 1 and 2 E and again 1 and 2 E and blueberry, watermelon. Make sure you're off that D. Blueberry, this D here on the left hand, because termelon has to play that note at first. Then we have to move 1 and 2 and blueberry salad. 1 and 2 and. So I'm going to count and play this whole line. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 E and 1 and 2 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 and 1 and 2. All right, so in this lesson we learned the fingering, the notes, and the rhythm. In the next lesson we're going to work on the dynamics, loud and soft, the articulation, which involves how to play the keys smooth or detached or staccato or accented, and we're also going to work on getting our tempo steady all the way through. So I'm just going to play the piece for you now, and then we'll go on to lesson 2 after you've practiced.